Welcome back. The deployment of Kenyan policemen and women in Haiti was a key, albeit controversial, foreign policy highlight for Kenya in the year 2025. In our My Year series tonight, Ayub Abdikadir talks about his journey with his videographer, John Gitonga, to the gang-gripped country, what they witnessed and their experiences, a journey that also took them to New York City in the United States for the United Nations General Assembly, attended and addressed by President William Ruto.
I want to thank you, Mr. President, for Kenya's leadership for multinational security support mission in Haiti.
And we have been participating in peacekeeping over the last 40 years in 47 countries.
From the outset, the Haiti mission was a defining foreign policy move for President William Ruto's administration. Questioned here at home and also abroad on the priorities. And I was among the people who questioned the president at the White House in Washington, the seat of world power.
Let me ask Ayub Abdikadir from Kenya for the next question.
Isn't it ironic that while America is ending its forever wars in Afghanistan, the latest in 2021, under your leadership, when you withdrew troops from Kabul?
An uncertainty gripped the mission in Haiti, in Port-au-Prince to be specific. And just 9 months after the first batch of the Kenyan police was deployed, the country recorded the first casualty. His name was Samuel Tompoi, and upon repatriation of the body by the mission led by Kenya, he was laid to rest at his Kajiado home during a solemn ceremony attended by the opposition, who again questioned the rationale and why our boys and girls were in the Caribbean country. And this necessitated our journey to Haiti in the company of my videographer, John Gitonga. And within a short time, we had to plan, make sure our paperwork was in order for the long journey ahead. And we departed the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport on the 15th of September midnight for the Qatari capital, Doha. And after about 5 hours, we landed at Hamad bin Khalifa International Airport in the Gulf country before we connected for our next flight to Miami, Florida, which was non-stop. And we were aboard Airbus A350-1000, one of the best model that Airbus had produced. And that would take us 15 hours and 30 minutes from Doha to Miami, Florida, before again connecting. It was a long flight. Just 3 hours after taking off from Hamad bin Khalifa International Airport in Doha. And 3 hours later, we were flying over the Egyptian airspace, and you could see from the display screen in front of your seat. And it tells you also the distance remaining, and which was about 12 hours and 9 minutes before our final destination. And you look around, it's more or less within a confined space, but still airborne, some 40,000 feet above sea level, giving us the essence of the long journey ahead before our destination. And by that time, we have not even gotten over the Atlantic Ocean. We kept on monitoring the screens in front of our seats until we landed in Miami, Florida. Before again connecting to Haiti, but it's a whole different scenario, not as smooth as we anticipated. But once we landed in Miami, Florida, evening 5 p.m. on Monday, the team and I refreshed for dinner in the evening. It was summer in America at the time. And after we had our dinner in the company of other colleagues from the other media stations, and it was time for some photos, at least for remembrance. we had to leave our hotel by 3:45 a.m. In anticipation of traffic, but there wasn't, so we were at the airport in about 10 minutes. And even at the airport, Gitonga and I did not miss the opportunity to also document some 1, 2, 3, 4 photos at Miami International Airport before connecting to the Caribbean country. Haiti is 1,100 kilometers away from Miami in Florida, and which was about 2 hours and 30 minutes. But it wasn't as smooth as we anticipated.
All the chargers from the plugs.
Because our thinking was that we'll be landing direct in the Haitian capital, Port-au-Prince, but that was never the case. We had landed at an island called Cap Haitian. Then we had to take a chopper to Port-au-Prince, the capital now. We were squeezed inside. Of course, there was no room for much comfort, but still we flew over very rich agricultural land, given the geographical position of Haiti, until we landed in Port-au-Prince. Now, what's fascinating is we did not land at the main airport because of, one, the security situation, and two, the main airport in Port-au-Prince, equivalent to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, was out of service. We landed atop a building. First thing you could see were the favelas of Port-au-Prince, and this is synonymous with Latin American countries. And we snacked through the tiny roads of Port-au-Prince until we got to our destination for planning for the following day. You could see my colleague, John, who was aided to wear the bullet vest and the helmet. John then hopped into the armored personnel carrier at the front row seat with the driver, heavily fortified cars that the Americans had modeled. Once you are at the marketplace, it's busy, people go about their businesses, and vigilantes who are armed, but they support the multinational security support mission since the Haitian police force completely collapsed. Our next destination was the police headquarters. This is the equivalent of Vigilance House here in Nairobi, where the police is headquartered, which was recently, by the time we were there, taken from the gun. Now, Thursday was interesting. We woke up early, went to visit the Kenyan consulate in Haiti. It's in a diplomatic neighborhood with about 17 missions. We met the former Deputy Inspector General of Police, Nur Dabo, who is leading the Kenyan mission there, who prepared us a sumptuous meal. Friday was relatively a relaxed day. We documented the challenges the mission faced, which included the frequently breaking down armored personnel carriers, so huge that at times it was difficult to ply the tiny roads of Port-au-Prince, and that was very evident during the night patrols that we had conducted with the Kenyan mission. We ended our assignment on Saturday and flew back on Sunday. 2 choppers operated by El Salvador, 1 military and the other was ambulance. And when we took off, I forgot to get my passport out of my bag. And then the luggage of the entire team was put in a separate chopper or helicopter, and we physically boarded another helicopter. I was worried at some point, mid-air, what then would happen, God forbid, if the chopper carrying our luggage crashes or any eventuality happens. And how then that would be difficult to get a passport while you'll be in Cape Haitian. You are from Port-au-Prince, but you haven't again reached Miami in Florida. Once we landed in Cape Haitian, our flight was ready in 2 hours. Then off we were, back to Miami. We spent the night in Miami before connecting to New York for the United Nations General Assembly on Tuesday. So the night gave us the ample time to prepare how to get there first, and second, prepare the equipment, prepare ourselves.
Survival kijeshi.
Ni nini unapiga pasi? Ni nini unapiga pasi?
Ni suti wana. Suti kesho kipindire.
Kesho ni tek ni address ya rais 11 am.
Matayarisho ya mapema.
Mapema. Shoti ndio hii. Suti ndio hiyo.
Then we stepped out to look out for then how we will get to the United Nations headquarters in New York. So the best mode of transport was the subway until we reached the United Nations, where we scouted for the president, because he was used to walking out from his hotel to the United Nations. But given the skyline of New York, you would be confused by where he was staying, and given the security around the presidency, and this was a totally now Secret Service affair. And once the president walked out, now it was rush hour, because we had to monitor his speech and make sure that the story is sent back on time. So our time frame was 2 hours. 11 a.m. in New York was 6 p.m. Nairobi time, which then means he took about 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, when he finished his address. Then that was the pressure time. Because I had literally been scripting when he was speaking. And once we sent it back, just the same position where we were sitting along the streets of New York is where we did our live link, which turned out to be very well. But my PTC, the piece to camera, was an interesting part, because I normally do once. But this time I took about 6 or 7 times. I think the 8th time, there was a Syrian protester who came in to support their president, who handed me a flower and spoke to me in Arabic. Before now, the perfection.
Ayub Abdikadir, Citizen TV, at the United Nations, New York.
Haiti literally lifted our spirits from humanity perspective. Journalism is a profession that exposes you to civilizations, peoples, understanding their cultures, beliefs, and allows you to gel with ease and with no difficulties in many situations. And my colleague had fun time in New York with the New York Police Department. And also our former colleague here at the Royal Media Services, Hassan Mugambi, and other Kenyans who we met in New York. And Saturday was our flight time back home through Doha. And this is an experience that is worth telling, because for we journalists, we tell your story and other people's stories. And it's always engaging when we also tell our stories. I am Ayub Abdikadir. Thank you for watching.